Joining me now is Texas Congressman, member of the House Energy Commerce Committee, Vice Chairman of the Rules Committee, and medical doctor himself, Michael Burgess. Congressman, always a pleasure. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Maria.
So what's going on here? They're talking with lobbyists as they come up with new regulations in terms of green energy and the climate change agenda?
It appears to be, and it's not like we haven't seen this happen before. So all the warning signs should be going off as people follow this money through. Look, the Inflation Reduction Act, so-called Inflation Reduction Act, last August was never a good idea to begin with. There was way too much money pushed out the door into various federal agencies, and now they are in a rush to find ways to spend that money. The other problem is that the people who are supposed to be the cops on the beat, the inspectors general of the various departments, came to us in the committee just literally 2 weeks ago and said they watch all of the funds that are going to be dispensed. In other words, they need more money because we've already spent so much money that we're worried that we're not going to spend it wisely. It seems like this could have been built or constructed in a more rational fashion, as you would do with any business in the private sector, but it is a point of significant concern for those of us on the committee and Congress at large.
Well, obviously, oil prices are back up at elevated levels, above $80 a barrel right now. We were all just commenting during the commercial break how it's possible that they were able to name the Inflation Reduction Act Inflation Reduction Act. Does it reduce inflation anywhere, or is it simply a clean energy climate change agenda package?
It was a package for delivering dollars, and the worst of it is you feel like it's going to be delivering dollars to people who were connected on the inside, and that's obviously where Congress needs to stay on top of this.
Yeah. James Freeman.
Congressman, the theory here, setting aside that we're moving from efficient petroleum to less efficient wind and solar, the theory is that a lot of this business, whether you're talking solar panels or the ingredients for the materials on a wind farm, currently mined and manufactured in China, now going to be mined and manufactured in the United States. Do you see that happening? Do you see more mines, more manufacturing of solar panels, wind turbines starting to happen in the United States?
Yes, you do see the discussion. I'm not sure you see the actual delivery. And in fact, in the district that I represent, Intermountain Mining out in California has now developed a battery factory in Keller, Texas. So that was a good thing. That was a positive. That was all before the Inflation Reduction Act. So movement in that direction was actually already occurring. The problem is, of course, and haven't we learned our lesson from previous episodes like this, where dollars can just go out the door with no one really keeping tabs on what's happening, and the deliverable for the taxpayer turns out to be completely non-existent.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a really important point that James brings up, because when you look at reality today is this climate agenda is sending money to agencies to actually send business to China. Do we really, from a national security perspective, do we really want to be even more reliant on China? We are already reliant on China and the production of the underlying components of our prescription drugs, the active ingredients there are made in China. We're already, so reliant on the minerals that we need for technology and so many other products that we're using. And now we're sending business like solar panel production, all of the battery production to China. Isn't that going to keep China once again with its hooks in America in terms of the U.S. relying on China? Why would we do that? I don't understand.
Well, the answer is you wouldn't do it. Now, the administration, and I don't plan to speak for them, but the administration will say they've made efforts to bring that supply chain back on shore. But the deliverable is still at this point elusive. There has been some administration activity, I know, in Minnesota to reduce mining in that area in the Iron Mountain range, which just would be counterintuitive. At the same time, you do have the European automobile manufacturers upset with the United States over the fact that the batteries that we say now must be made in America to be participants in this largesse that's coming for the electric car manufacturers, that I worry there that they're going to find a workaround and find a way to not make those products in the United States.
That's right. And let me just say that the EPA is planning to cut more than 50% of vehicle emissions by 2032, which means 2 out of every 3 new vehicles sold will be electric within a decade. This is their goal. A new AP poll finds nearly half of Americans say they're unlikely that their next car will be electric. So, again, this administration is going completely against what we're actually seeing happening with the American people. Here's Michelle Tafoya. Jump in, Michelle.
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask about that, too, and I live in Minnesota, so I know that the miners are not very happy with what's going on there. But also the whole idea of nuclear energy, was that ever a part of this Inflation Reduction Act? Because it is the cleanest, maybe expensive on the front end, but very inexpensive on the long term. Was that ever part of this Inflation Reduction Act?
Not at the beginning. There does seem to be more discussion now than there was even a year ago, and that was one of my laments on the floor, that you spend all this money and not a dime for new nuclear. Look, when you think of nuclear, there of course is the newer technology, the small modular reactor, and everyone's hopeful that the result there is going to be positive. But let's not forget the older technology, the what I call the legacy nuclear fleet. There was an effort to decommission and remove that from our nation's energy producing fleet, but that's not a good idea, and we do need to keep that. We do need to keep those sites going as well.
Congressman,
I recently visited.
Real quick, can you do anything about this? I mean, what can be done about this agenda at this point? Real quick.
Well, it's all going to come down on the appropriations side, and there just has to be intense scrutiny on where the dollars have been authorized, not yet spent, and that's where the true scrutiny is going to have to come.
Okay, and that means holding back funding for some of these agencies through the appropriation bills, the 12 appropriation bills that you're working on. Okay, Congressman, thank you so much.
Which means you have to do.
Go ahead,
you have
final
to
word.
do your work. You have to do your work. We can't just let it be an omnibus or continuing resolution. They have to be the 12 bills.
Michael Burgess, thank you. We appreciate it. We'll be watching.